kabuhayan. Gusto nilang pahabain ang paghihirap ng Pilipino, gusto ata nilang gumapang ang bayan sa dusa, gaya ng paggapang ng mga buhaya sa kaban ng bayan at konstitusyon. Ginoong Pangulo, Ginang Pangulo, hindi ko inaakalang aabot sa punto ng buhay ko na ako, isang Marcos, magtatanggol ng 1987 Constitution, isang saligang batas na isinulat laban sa aming pamilya. Pero sa huling pagbisita ko sa libingan ng mga bayani sa puntod ng aking ama, pinaalala ako ng mga katagang nakasulat sa kanyang himlayan, Pilipino. At bilang Pilipino, bilang isang lingkod bayan, bilang isang kaisa-isang anak ni Ferdinand Marcos na may lakas ng loob na tumindig para sa ating bansa, dapat protektahan natin ang saligang batas ng Pilipinas. Nitong mga nakaraang linggo, hindi lang ako basta Pilipino, hindi lang ako basta senador. Naging reporter pa at vlogger dahil walang mag-cover sa totoong nangyayari. Pero napakaraming nagko-cover up sa mga korap na politiko. Kung meron nakakaalam sa galit ng bayan pagdating sa pagpapahaba ng poder sa kapangyarihan, nasa unahan na ako ng listahan. Hindi ako makakapayag na walang maisabuhay sa mga aral ng kasaysayan. Noong naharang natin ang PI na yan, People's Initiative, noong Enero 2024, hindi naman sila tumigil. Noong ika-12 ng Agosto 2025, unang inihayag ni Bongbong Marcos ng ating Pangulo na hindi niya tututulan ang isang Constitutional Convention o CONCON upang ayusin umano ang mga butas sa saligang batas, kasunod ng pahiwatig ng Kongreso na sumusuporta nito. Pagsapit ng Nobyembre, nung nakaraang taon din, naghain na si Congressman Ronaldo Puno at mga miyembro ng NUP, National Unity Party, ng House Bill 5870 naglalayong magpatawag ng Constitutional Convention upang magmungkahi ng mga amyenda sa konstitusyon. Noong ika-30 ng Enero 2026, nagpahayag naman si dating Senate President Soto ng suporta sa pagtalakay ng mga amyenda sa konstitusyon matapos ang desisyon ng Korte Suprema kaugnay ng impeachment laban kay VP Sara Duterte. Agad itong ikinatuwa ng tropang NUP na nagsabing mahalaga ang kooperasyon ng Senado upang maisulong ang mga reforma sa saligang batas. Gayunpaman, noong ika-31 ng Enero 2026, sumagot ang Malacanang, hindi raw prioridad ang charter change o CHA-CHA dahil nakatutok umano ang Pangulo sa mga isyong pang-ekonomiya. Isang pahayag na inilabas matapos magpahayag ng suporta si SP Soto noon sa pag-amyenda ng konstitusyon. Sa gitna ng debateng ito, naghain noong ika-7 ng Pebrero 2026 yung dating ARTA, Rabindranath Kilala, ng isang radikal na panukala, buwagin ang Senado, pati na rin ang Kongreso at lahat ng lokal na sanggunian, paltan ng isang National Legislative Assembly, maari umano makatipid ng hanggang 1 trilyong taon-taon. Nung nakaraang buwan, formal din hinikayat ni Congressman Puno at ng NUP ang liderato ng Kamara na simulan ng pakikipag-usap sa Senado hinggil sa charter change sa pamamagitan ng Constitutional Convention. Ginamit pa nila ang pagiging bukas ni SP Soto sa constitutional amendments bilang oportunidad para sa koordinasyon ng dalawang kapulungan. Sa huli, noong ika-14 ng Mayo 2026, mariing itinanggi ng Malacanang ang akusasyon ni Senate President Alan Peter Cayetano na sinusubukan ng palasyo pahinain ang Senado. Binigyan diin ng palasyo na hindi pinag-uusapan ng CHA-CHA at inulit ang pananaw ng Pangulo na hindi ang pag-amyenda ng saligang batas ang sagot sa kasalukuyang problema ng bansa. Ngunit hindi ito ang nangyayari sa labas ng palasyo. Ang NOEL, at term extension ay buhay na buhay sa mga patay na patay sa kapangyarihan. Pagkat sa kasalukuyang ika-20, ika-20 Kongreso, maraming panukalang naglalayong baguhin ang konstitusyon. Mula sa House Bill 368 ni Congressman Abante na nagsusulong ng CONCON hanggang sa resolution of both houses number 1 ni Congressman Garbin. Sinundan pa ng resolution of both houses number 2, naglalaman ng mungkahing ibaba sa 35 anyos ang minimum age requirement ng presidente at ang vice-presidente 30 ang edad. Bukod dito, Congressman Richard Gomez naghain ng resolution number 3 upang amyendahan din ang Constitution. Meron pang resolution number 4, nagmumungkahi gawing 3 taon na lamang, 3 magkakasunod na termino ang panunungkulan ng mga senador. Nariyan ang House Resolution 460 ni na Congressman Oreta, Congressman Remulla, Congressman Dasa at iba pa na bibigyan linaw daw ang kahulugan ng forthwith sa impeachment. At mula noong Abril, habang hinihikayat ng mga congressman na bumoto sa impeachment, malakas ang ugong ng no-L sa 2028. Lumutang na rin ang mga detalye. Magte-term extension ang mga congressman at madadagdagan ng 3 taon na mananatiling nakaupo sa pwesto hanggang 2031. Ganon din, 2028. Ganon din ang mga senador, pati ang Pangulo, hanggang 2031 na raw. Kung may eleksyon man sa 2028, sa lokal na lang. Kaya, Visayas o Mindanao ka man, suportado ng iglesia o hindi, walang problema dahil walang eleksyon. Kaya ang tanong ngayon, ayaw ba talaga ng palasyo sa Chacha o kunwari lang? O talaga bang wala ng respeto sa Pangulo? Bukod kay Lito Banayo, napakarami kong sources patungkol sa mga meeting na naganap para sa isinusulong na Constituent Assembly o CONAS. Mga kalipunan ng mga politikong hindi nananalo sa mga matataas na posisyon, inaambisyon nila. Kung hindi kayang manalo sa boto, baguhin na lang ang konstitusyon. Noon pa man, hindi ako naging hadlang sa pagbabago. Kumpara lamang sa ekonomiya at ikagiginhawa ng buhay ng Pilipino. Pero magagaling ang mga buwaya. Tahimik na gumagapang upang malamon pati ang konstitusyon. Kung nagsisinungaling ang mga nagsumbong sa akin, kung sasabihin kasinungalingan ang sinabi ko ngayon at ang pinalabas, hinihikayat ko ang mga senador ngayon sa ating bulwagan. Ipangako natin sa taong bayan na may eleksyon sa 2028 mula sa presidential hanggang sa lokal. At Madam President, magiging masaya akong mapatunayan na mali ako. Dahil ibig sabihin nun, mananalo ang tama. In the interest of time and that this chamber may proceed with its scheduled legislative business, I will not entertain any interpellations at this juncture and would rather allow the facts in the video as well as confronting this nation to resonate fully with this chamber and the Filipino people. I urge this body to look deeply into what we have witnessed today, act with vigilance, courage, and fidelity to the Constitution we swore to defend. Maraming salamat po.
Yes.
Thank you.
Madam President, may I make
Yes, we recognize Senator Mig Subiri.
point of order? Madam President, the point of order. Under Section 93, 94, 95 on Unparliamentary Acts and Language, I just want to point out that the video that the lady senator presented was obviously opinionated, a propaganda tool, right? It's should be stricken off the record, Madam President. And it's unparliamentary. We've seen videos presenting evidence on issues that are taken up on the floor. Senator Tulfo always comes out with videos showing people being mauled, people being abused for the information of this body to act on that particular issue. But to come up with an opinionated piece like that, ganong klaseng video na propaganda na sowing intrigue. Kasi ako, Madam President, hindi naman ako sang-ayon sa people's charter change. I was the first one in this institution who fought that kind of move with the PI, and all of us together, kaming lahat, for the first time in the history of the Senate, 24 senators tumayo dyan at pinasapo natin yung Contra People's Initiative, na fake People's Initiative, na talagang kinall out natin yung lahat ng grupo ng tumutulak nun, from the Speaker and even Malacanang, kinalaban natin. Kaya wala kami kinalaman dyan. Bakit sinama kami dyan sa propaganda na yan? Na dahil kami, Duwag 11? Ano ba yan? Bulaga 11? At grade 13? That should not be shown here. Because what will stop us now, Madam President, for that lady senator, that we come up also with a propaganda video here, papalabas din namin, yung mga sala nila. Oo, kung ano-ano, hindi naman kami ganyan. No? To gain traction, to gain views and publicity, will destroy our fellow colleagues here? Walang ganyanan. Ako, hindi ako nagagalit. Kilala niyo ako. Ako pinaka-amiable dito. Mahal ko kayong lahat. Pero hindi tama yung pangyayaring iyon. Hindi ba? Kung galit po kayo, magsalita po siya dyan, magalit siya sa gobyerno niya. Magalit siya sa kapatid niya. Murahin niya kapatid niya. Pero wag naman niya idamay yung mga tao na walang kinalaman dyan. Katulad niya, never ako kinausap ni Senate President Soto. Never ako kinausap ng mga kasamahan ko dito about charter change. Kasi alam din nila, tutol ako. Tinanong ko din sila, wala silang kausap, wala silang kinalaman, wala silang alam sa charter change. This whole group is just nodding, shaking their heads. There is no such thing. Inday-badiday na ba tayo dito sa Senado? Kaya nga sinasabi, we're a circus. I apologize to those who are watching. They think we're a circus. We are a circus because this type of language that we are pushing in this August chamber, it's unparliamentary, Madam President. It is unparliamentary. And I'll tell you now, these people here, ladies and gentlemen, in this body are not in favor of any amendments to the Constitution. We just want to bring back the integrity of this same chamber. Cannot we discuss that as a group, as a body, that we fight for our integrity, for the good name to be brought back, for people like Jokno, people like Tanyada, people like Aquino, people like Salonga, even Frank Drilon, people like Miriam Defensor Santiago, Joker Arroyo, who stood here for what was the best times of our institution. Have we forgotten that and we've made it already like a circus? Madam Chair, I do not agree. Because I'm not Macamarcos. I'm not, so when you come up with a propaganda tool like that, hitting all of us, it makes us look that we are, nasa panig po kami ng mali at nasa panig po kami ng mga demonyo. Diba? May panindigan po kami lahat dito, Madam President. So therefore, you can see my passion on this. I move to strike the horrible propaganda video off the records of this great institution, Madam President.
Before I recognize the former Senate President, may I ask the former Senate President, Senator Subiri, is that transformed into your motion?
Yes, that's a motion.
That is your motion.
That is a motion, Madam.
Yes. So before we act on your motion, may I hear first from the Minority Leader
Thank
and
you.
then Senator Tulfo? Yes. Is it a
Thank you, Your
manifestation
Honor.
or a motion
Thank
as
you
well?
very much, Your Honor. Well, this is a way of seconding the motion of Senator Subiri. First of all, the presentation, or what we call the editorial video that we witnessed, yes. I would like to take exception of my being mentioned there. Parang lumalabas na parang lahat ng narinig nila or nakipag-meeting sa akin ang speaker o kung sino pa, parang pumayag ako. sana tinanong nila yung source nila, pumayag ba ako? Yung mga binabanggit na idea, I did not even mention it to any member of the Senate. Tungkol doon sa mga ideas of, let's say, a regional Senate and all that. Ito mga idea ng mga tao to eh. Di ba? Kung nakikinig ka, narinig mo yung idea, ikaw ba'y sumang-ayon na? Dahil narinig mo? For example, in my case, from the day I became a senator up to the present, ang dami namin pinagdaanan dyan. Ang mas gusto ko, CHA. C-H-A, C-H-A. Not charter change. Ang kailangan natin, CHA, character change. That is what we need. Okay, kaya kung merong, let's say, may idea ang Speaker of the House, gustong kausapin ng Senate President at sinasabi nila, meron silang mga membro, ganito, idea ganito, nag-idea ganito, ay ibig sabihin ba nun, mali na kagad ako dahil narinig ko? Ano? Did I agree? Ang sabi ko pa nga, if we're going to change or amend, not change amend, ang nabanggit ko. If you're going to amend the Constitution, baka ako pumayag sa isang bagay lang, sabi ko. At yun may kumbaga sa in jest ko pa sinabi. Sabi ko, ibaba natin ang edad. Bakit sa Amerika, 35 years old ng presidente? Ang senator, 30. Bakit sa atin 40 and 35? Kaya mali pa rin yung sinasabi doon sa isa sa comment sa the distinguished lady na sinasabi, gusto ko raw iakyat into 50 para ma-disqualify doon sa Duterte. That's not true, Mr. President, Madam President. That's impossible. I never said that. Di ba? And I have nothing to do with the proposal for any elections of Sara Duterte in 2028. For all you know, I might vote for her. Di ba? Ano pa yan eh? Hindi pa pwedeng porque pinag-uusapan, narinig mo, yun na kagad. At saka lalabas dito na para bang ako'y nakikiisa. I have nothing to do with the allegations of Chacha. I heard the proposals. I never brought it up to my colleagues, any one of them. Hindi ko binanggit eh. As a matter of fact, there was one time na sinasabi yung meeting daw namin, Senator Lacson was there. He dropped by because he had the board meeting. Tapos sabi ko, tama-tama, nagkamali siya ng pasok. Andun lang kami. Well, it's not a room. It's just the VIP area that's open, very open. Sabi ni Senator Lacson, anong ginagawa niyo rito? Nagkamali ako ng pasok. Hindi, sabi ko, nagkikwentuhan lang kami. Sabi ko, at tinanong ko pa siya, ilan ba yung kwartong pinapagawa sa new Senate building? I even asked that. Bakit? Sabi niya, why? Ito kang kako, yung mga congressmen gustong gawing regional. Gusto nilang gawing 36 ang mga senador. Sabi ko, tatanong ko kung kakasya ron. We were joking. So yung mga source na nakikinig ng mga kwento, parang they make it sound sinister. Mag-ingat po tayo sa mga ganong kwento. Hindi ko sinasabing hindi nangyari. Nangyari. Yung nag-usap kami, nakita kami. As a matter of fact, you will not be surprised. You should not be surprised if I often see Bo-GD. Because Bo-GD is my golf mate. Ang mga golfing friends namin, every now and then, nagkaka-dinner kami. And during that time, na pinag-uusapan nila yung na binabanggit na nag-meeting daw kami dahil sa Chacha. Parang ganun ang dating eh. That's not true. Ang talagang topic namin was the new TW777 of Honma Meres. It's a new set of clubs that Speaker Boji was telling me that he wanted to buy and asked me if I've tried it already. Kami mga golfing buddies na grupo. Even Dom Mendoza was there because Dom Mendoza is NPC also. He's the Secretary General of NPC. So pagka nakikita-kita kami, almost, every 2 weeks? Every month, we have an NPC meeting. We always miss you, Madam President, because you seldom attend. So hindi dapat masamain kung nag-uusap-usap ang mga politiko, kung may mga idea mga politiko. That's why I really take offense. I take exception to what was presented. Parang I don't care about what the other mention or the other things that were mentioned. But as far as the issue of my involvement in Chacha is concerned, I vehemently deny. Definitely, I have nothing to do with that. And I second the motion of Senator Subiri that the editorial video should be stricken off the record because it appears na parang mayroon tayong sinister na plano na kasama kami. Thank you.
Concern is too visible to ignore. First, remove the inconvenient voices from the inquiry. Then weaken those who refuse to conform. Then frighten others into silence and submission before the decisive constitutional battles begin. Mr. President, this is not merely about a complaint. The trump-up charges filed against me and some of my friends are not merely legal accusations. They form part of a deeper and more nefarious design to intimidate independent voices, to punish dissent, and to warn every senator that the price of asking hard questions could lead to personal damnation. If the intention of these cases is to silence me, let me say this at the very beginning. It has failed. I will not be silenced. I did not seek public office to become comfortable, Madam President. I did not take my oath merely to occupy a seat in this chamber while billions disappear into darkness, while constitutional processes are manipulated by pressure, or while the Senate is slowly conditioned to fear retaliation for independent judgment. I did not take my oath to serve only when service is convenient. I did not come to this chamber to lend my voice when power applauds and withdraw it when power becomes displeased. A senator is not elected to be timid. The senator is not sworn into office to become a spectator while the Constitution is tested, while impeachment proceedings demand judgment, and while the people cry out for truth about the wide-scale theft of public funds. Instead, a senator is elected to stand, to examine, to question, to decide, and when necessary, to resist. This is what I intend to do. So let the complaint be examined. Let the evidence be tested. Let the law speak. I will answer in the proper forum with documents, with facts, and with the calm confidence of one who knows that accusation is not proof, that attacks couched in legal veil do not constitute the truth. And before the Filipino people, I must say what is plain. A complaint without nexus is not justice. A complaint without evidence is public injury, official favor, corrupt consideration, or abuse of office is not accountability. It is machinery. It is pressure. It is a warning shot fired at those who refuse to kneel. And if that warning was meant for me, Mr. President, then the answer is very clear. It failed. The complaint against me speaks of amounts. It speaks of dates. It speaks of suspicion. But suspicion is not evidence. Amount is not corruption. Political inconvenience is not probable cause. An accusation, no matter how loudly repeated, is not proof. It is a theater. It is pressure. It is machination. Let me state the legal defenses plainly on the allegations against me. The law did not define the limits of liberality among friends. They did not say that friendship must stop at a number chosen by one's accusers. They did not say that generosity becomes criminal merely because the amount is substantial. What the law forbids is not liberality. It forbids corruption. What it condemns is not friendship. It condemns the sale of public duty. At least I stated the truth. At least I faced the issue. At least I did not hide behind silence. So I ask, What of those who receive support, gifts, donations, favors, or assistance for their own electoral campaigns and keep them beyond public scrutiny? Shall the law be a sword only against those who dissent and shield for those who belong to the circle of the powerful? If transparency is demanded, let it be demanded of all. If public morality is the standard, let no one be exempt because of wealth, alliance, influence, or proximity to power. And so I speak again, clearly and directly. What official act did I sell? What vote did I promise? What public fund did I touch? What government contract was delivered? What favor was asked, promised, or given? If they cannot answer these questions, then this complaint is not the pursuit of justice. It is a deliberate attempt to silence dissent. But this is larger than me. This is not a fight for one man. This is not a fight for one faction. This is not a fight for political survival. This is a fight for whether the Filipino people may still have senators capable of questioning, investigating, judging, and speaking freely without fear or favor. When this chamber is called upon to sit in impeachment proceedings, we are not merely politicians. We are senator judges. We are bound to listen, to weigh evidence, to apply the Constitution, and to act according to our conscience. That responsibility cannot be curtailed by fear, pressure, harassment, or manufactured accusation. No one should be allowed to intimidate a senator judge into silence. No one should be allowed to punish a member of this chamber for ensuring that impeachment must be governed by law, evidence, due process, and conscience. Whether one favors or opposes any party in those proceedings, that's not the point. The point is whether the Constitution shall speak above political convenience. I will perform that duty, Madam President. I will listen. I will weigh the evidence. I will obey the Constitution. I will not prejudge. I will not be dictated upon. I will not surrender the independence of my vote to any power outside this chamber. Even if the path becomes lonely, I will walk it. Even if the attacks become heavier, I will endure them. Even if my voice becomes inconvenient to the powerful, I will continue to speak the way I should. The same is true of the Senate's investigation of the flood control scandal. That inquiry must continue. It must not be weakened. It must not be derailed. It must not be silenced. If there has been grand-scale theft from the country's coffers, then that is among the greatest sins of our modern public life. It is not ordinary corruption. It is the stealing of safety from communities that drown. It is the stealing of roads from farmers. It is the stealing of classrooms from children. It is stealing of medicine from the sick, wages from workers, and hope from taxpayers who labor honestly while others feast on public money. No senator should be silenced when the duty is to follow the trail of the public's money. No committee should be weakened when the task is to expose corruption. No voice should be threatened when the question before the nation is whether the billions intended for the people were ransacked by bandits of insatiable greed. I do not fear imprisonment. I fear a country where freedom itself is imprisoned. I fear a republic where legal processes are twisted into weapons, where dissenting voices in the Senate are mechanically trimmed down, and where the rich and the powerful elite manipulate institutions so that only their chosen voices may be heard. While others may refuse to speak because of threats, I will not. Madam President, I will not let fear write my narrative. I will not let intimidation decide my vote. Make me bleed, and I will still shout out to the high heavens for truth and justice. Push me against the wall, and I will still push back with all the lawful strength that conscience, evidence, faith, and duty can give me. Not with violence, not with hatred, not with recklessness, but within the Constitution, in my hand, the law in my shield, the truth as my voice and the Filipino people as my reason. Nelson Mandela once spoke of a democratic and free society as an ideal for which he was prepared, if necessary, to die. I do not compare myself to Mandela. I am too little to even try, Madam President. But I understand the burden of that lesson. Freedom is never preserved by the silent. It is preserved by those who still speak when silence becomes the safer choice. And so I say this to those who believe that cases can frighten us, that accusation can tame us, that pressure can make us forget the oath we took before the people. You have misread the Senate. You have misread the Constitution. You have misread me. May I repeat? I will answer this complaint in the proper forum, calmly, firmly, and with evidence. I will sit in impeachment proceedings with conscience, impartiality, and due regard for the record. I will pursue the examination of flood control anomalies with courage, fairness, and determination. I will not allow public funds meant to protect our people from floods to disappear into the hands of those who already have too much. I will not allow the greatest theft of our time to be buried under intimidation. Even if I am the only one left standing, I will stand. Even if my voice is the last one they wish to hear, I will still speak. Even if the path becomes lonely, difficult, and costly, I will continue because the oath I took was not ceremonial. It was not a line recited for record. It was a solemn charge from the Filipino people to defend the Constitution, to guard the public trust, and to act with courage when silence becomes convenient. Let those who weaponize the law answer to history. Let those who steal from the people answer to justice. Let those who seek to silence dissent understand this. A senator who remembers his oath cannot be purchased by comfort, cannot be subdued by threats, and cannot be defeated by fear. Madam President, kaya po ba nila kong ipakulong? Kayang-kaya po nila. Nagawa nga po nilang umimbento ng krimen laban sa akin. Kamakailan lamang po, hindi pa nagtatagal, dito rin sa bulwagang ito, somebody said, sometimes you need to bend the law to be able to please the people. Am I right, Mr. Secretary Remulla? Secretary Remulla, then Secretary of Justice, now Ombudsman, said loudly, yes, sir. So pwede na nang baluktutin lahat, kagaya ng pambabaluktot na ginawa nila. Pero sinasabi ko, Madam President, they can imprison me, they can arrest me, but I tell them, they still will not win. Itaga nila yon sa bato. Madam President, before ending, let me share the declarations of our Lord God in Isaiah 54:17. No weapon forged against you will prevail. You will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servant of the Lord. This is their vindication from me. Maraming salamat po.